Welcome to the NerdCave News. I am one of your hosts, Zach Dykes, joined along with, he ain't pretty, he ain't good looking, but he can hang clothes. It's Tookie Clothespin.
Tookie Clothespin. Okay. I felt like you got a little petty with that before we started, but you know, I'll allow it because I brought it on myself.
You did bring it upon yourself, Tookie. Old Tookie Clothespin.
Tookie.
Tookie, I'm glad we got an awesome show for everybody. Like I don't think people are ready for how jam-packed this episode. We got Overwatch, we got Super Mario Brothers movie, we've got CD Projekt Red, we got some Horizon news, and then we're gonna be talking about the best game that's come out until November 9th.
The Mac Daddy, as some would say.
God of War 2018. We're going to be re-reviewing it, guys, tonight on this episode. So come be a part of it. Let us know your thoughts on all of the things that are going on, because this is the Nerd Cave News, where each and every week we run you through all the video game news that you need to know. You can watch us live on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central Time over on youtube.com/NerdCave Network. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and the like button so you don't miss out on anything, so more people can see the video. We also have a podcast version of the show. It's available on Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, all those good places around the globe. Go subscribe, listen to it each and every week. And while you're there, put up them fives. Put them 5 stars, baby. Do it. Help us out. The more 5 stars, get more people to listen to the show, pushes it all those good algorithms. This episode is brought to you by the Epic Game Store and our wonderful patrons. You can go support us by using creator code NerdCave at checkout in the Epic Game Store. Even on free games, it helps us out. Get those V-Bucks, those Sony games with our creator code, and be epic. You can also become part of the ship, part of the exclusive crew, by going over to patreon.com/nerdcave, just like our wonderful crew members, the first mate, Brandon Hicks, the helmsman, the conductor, Gunners, Daniel Sanford, Rushing Waters Yoga, Marilyn James, Brittany, the Granny B. Harrison, and our deckhand, Martin Sager. Guys, September is come and gone. It's gone. It's in the wind. She's like the wind.
Well, I was gonna say a fart in the wind, but you know that's more subtle and nice.
Well, you know, a fart still lingers, though.
Well, depend. I mean, it depends, but sure.
You know, it's like I just say this. I'll just say this, Derek. A fart, if you will, a fart is like a chef's kiss in reverse to what you ate.
That's one way of putting it, and depending on what you eat, it's a very good stretch. But you know, I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to touch that.
It is like a chef's kiss in reverse. That's what a fart is, guys. Murdoch says, does Clothespin do laundry too? I need laundry done. Well, Tookie, you can answer that question. Do you do laundry, Tookie?
I do laundry, but I do my own laundry. What do you think I am, a maid?
No, he's Tookie Clothespin, not to be confused with Tookie, go wash my clothes.
Right.
Pin.
I'm not your mom or your wife or your girlfriend or your significant other. I'm not any of those. Do your own laundry.
Cody says, oh, Clothespin airing it out. Yeah, we've already established that old Tookie is kind of gassy. He's more Tootie Clothespin than Tookie Clothespin. You know what I mean? Oh, baby. I got an awesome show for you tonight. First up, we're going to be talking about our October Game Club game, and announcement here, guys. Our October Game Club game is actually going to be Wreck Fest. There you go. It's up on the screen. I'm covering up Derek's face right now. Guys, October Game Club game. We're going to be playing Wreckfest. It's over on the Game Pass. All those good places. I know some of y'all have already jumped into it. We wanted something that's a little bit easier on us time wise and everything.
Yeah.
So October Game Club is Wreckfest. Go download it. Go be a part of it. We're going to be playing it on stream. Going to be doing a lot of cool stuff. And when it comes in November, we want your thoughts and opinions on the game. Murdoch's like, oh snap. See, we listened.
Yeah.
You know,
It's free on Game Pass, so you know.
There we go.
Never say we are not of the people.
We're not of the people, but you know, we do help them out every now and then. You know what I mean?
True. We throw them a bone.
Yeah, like I don't want to be like Atreus or anything, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean, like
you know,
you know what I'm talking about.
We're not gonna be that full of ourselves.
But you know, if the shoe fits, you know what I mean?
Wait, hold on. Is that a shot at me?
No. I'm saying
okay.
like, you know, we're the hosts. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like how, you know, he gets a little bit full of himself. You know, it's okay every now and then to be a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Like a pinch of oregano. You know what I mean? A little pinch of oregano.
What pinch? A giant pinch or like a mouse pinch? Because there's different sizes.
Like a jaundice, like a pinch of jaundice. You know what I mean?
What?
Little pinch of jaundice.
Where is this going? Let's cut this off right now.
Let's keep it moving, guys. We've got first up the Super Mario Brothers movie has officially released its trailer. It's coming out in 2023. Stars Chris Pratt as Star-Lord, aka Raptor Man, aka Andy, aka Super Mario himself, Mario, which that's his last name, by the way. You know what I mean?
Mario?
I'm just saying, it's like the Mario Brothers. That has to be his last name. You know what I mean?
At this point, you know, it should be canon.
I don't know. But guys, we got a trailer. We're going to check it out. So here we go.
Okay. That's one way to intro.
I like the very metal ship going on here. Yeah. Let's get it, Bowser.
Go off, Bowser. Drop your anchor or drop the mace in this quick.
Okay. Isn't Jack Black Bowser?
Yes.
Open the gates.
All right.
Okay.
Not very effective.
That is but a taste of our fury.
Oh, Murdoch says raise trailer audio.
Yeah.
I do not.
Yeah, that's Jack Black. Oh. All right.
Dang.
All right. He's been eating his Wheaties.
Now who's gonna stop me?
It looks good.
Yeah.
What is this place? Do not touch that mushroom, you'll die!
No. That's Keegan Michael Key.
Mushroom Kingdom, here we come.
I like the music.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
April 7th.
Okay. All right. I'm not, mad about that.
Yeah.
Like
It does look good. It definitely had a good first impression. But now I didn't get really a clean listen to it because our biggest concern was hearing Chris Pratt as Mario. So I know that was definitely your biggest concern.
Yeah.
What does that do for you?
Like for me, I don't know. Like he's got a slight accent,
It
but
sounds like Chris Pratt.
Yeah. But like Chris Pratt has done animated movies. He did the Lego movie. He did an awesome job at it. I don't know. I need a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not expecting like a full-blown Italian, but at the same time, it's like this just sounds like Chris Pratt with a little bit of like a New York accent.
Yeah, like I'm saying, like I need a little bit more of him talking to really kind of get something. But when Nintendo's like giving him the approval and they're very stingy about their rights and what they do and everything, like if Miyamoto and all that is like down to clown, who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? Who am I to judge?
Jack Black is back to hear Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong though.
Yeah.
So
So I like that opening, like that's how Bowser should be, like super OP, super imposing, not the kind of mean character that we've gotten over the years and everything. You wish the animated series was this clean? What animated series? Nani?
Must be talking about the old school one.
Wonder how much in character training he did. I don't know. He is an actor, so probably some. You know what I mean? Hopefully. But what time will tell. April 7th. Derek, are you gonna go watch this movie when it comes out? Or are you gonna wait till it goes on?
It comes out. I'm at that old age where it's like let me get a couple weeks before I go see a movie in theaters anymore because that way I don't want to be around a bunch of kids like I just want to enjoy it. You know what I mean? Don't have to hear all the tomfoolery.
Yeah. The shenanigans.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I don't really go to the movies anymore. Like it just like this ain't my thing anymore. You know what I mean? Like movie theaters, like nothing really good comes out. You know what I mean? Like nothing really good comes out anymore. So, well, we'll see it when we see it. You know what I mean? Like, I think it'll be good. And to Murdoch's point, like I know the live action TV show. I'm not talking about the live action Abomination movie, which scarred me as a kid. Not that one, but I'm talking about the live action back in the day.
No, that's right. Oh, okay. Because I was talking about like the old school one, like with they look like chain smokers for plumbers.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Like that one. Okay. And then there's like the movie one, which is awful as well. But speaking of awful, let's talk about Overwatch 2 real quick. Overwatch 2 launched this week, and man, oh man, it has had so many problems, from DDoS attacks to requiring you to use a cell phone number to verify that you're a human, to track your in-game audio so you're not bullying people, to queues, and to so many things going on.
Is the government running this game?
And thankfully, I did not have as bad of an experience because I came in later that day, Tuesday, and I played it on stream, and I got to play for about 2 hours and didn't even have any problems once I got into the game. All right.
Yeah.
But it was kind of it was a very like tease of like you would go up in numbers and then it would be like have a server issue and then you jump back down to 40,000 and then you work your way back up. So that happened a few times to me. But on stream I got in and was able to play. I will talk about the I'm getting a phone call. Hold on. I'll talk about the gameplay and then I'll talk about battle pass and all that kind of stuff. Gameplay, very solid. Kiriko, man, she is so much fun to play as, dude. Like, so yeah, until they nerf the mess out of her. There are definitely some slight imbalances in some of the stuff. So it's new, you know what I mean? They're trying a new patch, which unlike, like a Fortnite or an Apex or a Call of Duty, this is more Apex does have like heroes and they have different abilities, but Overwatch is known for like it's shifting the meta shifting
Right.
huge from patch to patch. So right now it's a lot of interesting mix up, and only having one tank, like it is make or break. If your tank is
Yeah.
good, you're good. If your tank is bad, then whoo, you're not going to do well. So
And you said it could make or break a match, or not real, or like
oh
it
yeah.
could definitely.
Oh yeah, like if your
Well,
tank is awful, like you're going to lose 100%.
ooh,
And your choice of tank really matters. So like it's a that there's a learning curve here on this
yeah,
game. Unlike the last Overwatch where there were two tanks, there were six, essentially two for each role.
yeah,
um Dude, the battle pass, like it feels like they're really wanting to make money. Like really wanting to make money on
yeah. I was
things.
thinking about that when we talked about like the grind last week, and I'm just like, oof, this don't look good.
Yeah. So I'm like I'm gonna play a little bit more. It does, like you're locked into 3 dailies, that's it, and then you
Right.
have weeklies, and then you have seasonal things. And I feel like each character has something seasonal that it can unlock and everything. But it's definitely different. They're definitely wanting money.
Yeah.
But you know, me coming in from an Overwatch 1 player, I already had like all the characters unlocked from the get-go.
Right.
One thing that I do want to say is for all the people that were trying to get the game, they kind of bamboozled people and pushed people towards the paid season pass
Mm,
version,
yeah.
which is not cool at all.
Nope.
Like Brandon paid $40 for a free game. Yeah,
Well,
he didn't know or whatever, but yeah, he bought the $40 thing because that's what, when you would go to download it, that was what you got pushed to. And on the console versions, that's all you got pushed to. There was no other way to get around that. So that for me says a lot about like that they're just wanting that money up front. They're wanting
yep.
to get that investment back as quickly as possible. There's a right way and there's a wrong way to do it, but overall,
It's Fisk.
the gameplay is great. The game looks crisp, man. It looks really good. Kiriko, dude, so much fun to play as. I played as Junker Queen just a little bit, and
Yeah.
she's a lot of fun. She got nerfed the mess out of. But yeah, definitely a learning curve. And Murdoch says, if I ever get in, I'm just here to pop heads. Exactly. I think Murdoch's going to do awesome as a sniper, like as a Widowmaker or an Ash, you know, like he's going to be good at DPS. He's going to be really good at that.
Yeah.
But let's move on. We got some CD Project Red, not CD as in like, you know, bad things, but CD
Yeah.
Project Red. I am really excited about what all they got going on here. So CD Project Red announces a Cyberpunk 2077 sequel coming, along with a new Witcher trilogy. Derek, take it away.
So out of nowhere, they just bum rushed all this news on us this week. Firstly, a sequel for Cyberpunk 2077, currently given the codename Orion, is in development with no current release window. On top of that, CD Projekt Red also announced 3 upcoming titles in the Witcher franchise, set to kick off a new trilogy. The first is codenamed Polaris, and is the same game CD Projekt Red has already announced a new single-player, story-driven RPG set in the world of The Witcher. Then Sirius, which is a new approach to The Witcher and will be developed by a new branch of the studio to be set up in Boston. Together, the Boston and Vancouver teams for CD Projekt Red will be known as CD Projekt Red North America. Those teams will be working on Sirius, and part of this, quote, new approach the studio is talking about is the inclusion of multiplayer. The last new Witcher title coming is codenamed Canis Majoris, a title that'll be developed by an external studio in an attempt to streamline the studio's ambitious pipeline. Quote, there will be 3 games in the saga, and we aim to deliver them over a 6-year period, starting from the release of Polaris, says Adam Kaczynski, President and Joint Chief Executive Officer at CDPR. Quote, it's a bold statement. Immediately after declaring the studio will attempt to release 3 major RPGs in that short time. he does refer to it to ways in which development of the second and third installments will be made smoother, such as being able to lay much of the technological foundation needed with Polaris. So we kind of knew there was, we talked about it maybe about a month and a half, 2 months ago, that there was a tease of a new Witcher game in development.
Mhm.
That's obviously Polaris. Um, and we'll talk about it later in the quick hits. I'll mention it. Apparently, the first one is not expected until 2025 at the earliest.
Yeah.
So we got another 3 years before we see it. But then they're going to crank it out over a 6-year span. And I think that's only going to work by obviously this last one going to be developed by an external studio. So that
Mhm.
way they don't have to overwork the studios they have
Yep.
with 3 games, which is smart. At the same time, do you feel like, because there's obviously one other article we'll get into revolving CD Projekt Red in a minute, but do you feel like this is Cyberpunk all over again, where they're showing off way too early, and now now with Cyberpunk come and gone, and what we know since 2020, now granted, it is actually playable now. They've pretty much
Mhm.
fixed it as much as they could.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is going to be sour grapes to some people in the sense of like, oh, well, you overhyped Cyberpunk. It was shown 2012, and then when it came out, it was a piece of junk. Are you going to do this again?
For the average gamer has pretty short memory. I'll just be honest with
That's
you.
true.
Since we talk about it every week, and that's kind of like what we love and we do and all of that, we have a longer memory of like things that happen.
Yep.
I think it is a little early, but I am very excited to see CD Projekt Red opening an American branch, getting in, American talent to be a part of that. I think that they've learned a ton from the whole cyberpunk issues, having another company do your QA, your quality control and
Yep.
everything, and they just flood you with little bugs because they're hitting a quota instead of
Yep.
getting you, game breaking stuff and everything. So I think they've learned their lesson in that regard. I think, this could be a good thing. But that many Witcher games right back to back to back
Yeah.
is strange, because Witcher 2 to Witcher 3 was a huge expanse of time, and
Oh,
Witcher
yeah.
3 to Cyberpunk 2077 was a huge span of time.
Yep.
And they supported Witcher 3 for a very long time with free
Yep.
content. Um I I think that they're trying to get the ball rolling again, and kind of get the bad taste out of everybody's mouth from what they had done. To Murdoch's point, he said he loved Cyberpunk and he didn't think he would, but he's really excited about the expansion that's coming out next year and getting back
Good.
into Night City. So like they've fixed a lot of the issues, they fixed a lot of the things, and maybe this is to get people excited. Hopefully it
Yeah.
doesn't get to the level of hype where people are getting threatened again. And I think opening another studio, getting talent that's out of America, and like I think that's going to be a very good thing for the company. But we do have one other bit of CD
Yeah.
Projekt Red news. CD Projekt Red announces new IP, codename Hadar.
On top of announcing 3 new titles coming between the Witcher and Cyberpunk franchises, CD Projekt Red also announced that it has started laying the foundations of, quote, creative exploration for a completely separate, totally new IP codenamed Hadar. According to Michael Nowakowski, a member of CD Projekt's group's board and senior vice president of business development, this new title has been meandering in the developers' minds for a few years now, with conceptual work kicking off in 2021. Nowakowski also emphasized that development on this title has not at all started, but rather that the base foundations for whatever this new game will be are being laid, and that this new title is being totally incubated within the studio. There's no telling as to when this new project will see the light of day. With the current outlook of CD Projekt Red's pipeline, that could maybe could maybe not be for another decade.
Yeah, like hearing about another, hint of something like I think this
Yeah.
is like Elder Scrolls 6, kind of stuff,
Oh, yeah.
or
Yeah.
when, the hints and rumors of GTA 6 came out, 10
Right.
years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is a long time away. And, you know, I'm glad that they're looking, you know, past Witcher and Cyberpunk, that they're not just going to keep, you know, churning out games in those worlds, because they're really great at building interesting worlds with different lore, different places. So, you know, what could Hadar be, you know, or Hadar, however you want to say it?
Yeah.
I think, you know, this, I don't even know what it's about, but I really believe in CD Projekt Red's
Yeah.
storytelling and lore building and world building. And I think it's, you know, whatever they put their hands to, it's going to be good as long as they're not rushed. And I think that they've learned that lesson big time.
What would you like the setting to be?
Well, we've kind of got the fantasy, we've kind of got the cyberpunk, and everything. Something space would be dope, dude.
Yeah.
You know, like it'd be something different, because like we've got fantasy, you know, knights, that sort of deal. We've got the futuristic, like doing something modern, I think would be kind of like a let down.
Yeah.
But doing something like in space, doing something that, you know, that they can literally create any world. It's not tied to anything, you know, create some really interesting species, like have aliens, do something really, really dope, you know. And hey, you know, it'd be dope.
What?
If Star Wars came to them like, hey, we want you to make something for our world.
Yeah. Oh,
Just saying.
that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah. And they would have the time to do it and everything and do it right. Like it would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. That'd be good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what's also good though?
Some PlayStation news.
Oh yes, sir.
We got some Horizons rumors. They're all around the horizon. You know what I mean? They're like right after the meaning of the chieftain, like the regents or whatever, the captains, and then the bad guy comes up and she's on the cliff, and then they like kill everybody. Well, that's how Horizon rumors are right now. First up, rumor: Forbidden West actor tweet sparks DLC hopes.
So in a now deleted tweet, Lance Reddick, who is the voice of Silence, was shown donning facial markers typical of performance capture work with the words, quote, hard at work in a session for Horizon Forbidden West, before it was quickly taken down, though it is still available via a Google search as is seen below. Yeah, I mean, we kind of speculated because there was a video about like a secret area about the Scorching Shores or whatever it is, DLC, that what it is. We talked about it in a review for the game several months back. This just is like, obviously if it's gotten taken down, it's pretty much a thing. It's just a matter of when they announce it. Now,
Yeah.
I think at this point, because I think they'll learn not to rush it out, because when, granted, they wanted to strike while the iron was hot with Zero Dawn, because Zero Dawn came out in February and the DLC came out that same year in November, and it was okay. Like, it was good.
Yeah.
It was more Horizon, but it didn't capture that magic like the game did. So I think it's like, you know, Forbidden West is like, all right, let's make it more meaningful this time. Let's make it a little bit more impactful. Like, it doesn't have to be on the same level as the main story, but let's make it a little bit more worth the purchase that we want people to buy. So I think it'll be a nice, like, maybe not the 1 year anniversary, but like beginning of the year.
Yeah, because like they've got to get out of the way of God of War Ragnarok. Like PlayStation's not going to put anything near that window for the next few months and everything.
Yeah. Plus, they would have announced it because they announced it at they announced the Frozen Wilds DLC at E3. So, granted, they didn't have an E3, but they did have a state of play not that long ago, and they would have announced it then. So, probably another indicator that'll probably be sometime next year.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like, I'm down for that. Silence, though, like left in a spaceship, so I don't know how.
Yeah, that's
how
a good part.
How that connects and everything.
Yeah,
but
unless it's a side story that, like, during the events of Forbidden West, or I don't know, maybe a prequel.
Maybe. All I can say is, hey, I always love Forbidden West, and I would love some more of it, please. Thank you.
Bam, thank you, man. Can I have another?
Some more rumors. Horizon Zero Dawn PS5 remaster is in development.
The remaster of the PS4 open world title will reportedly feature enhanced visuals that will bring it shoulder to shoulder with Horizon Forbidden West, with new character models, lighting, and animations featured. Furthermore, it is also believed that Horizon Forbidden West remaster will include new accessibility Horizon Zero Dawn remaster will include new accessibility features, graphics modes, and quality of life improvements.
Mm.
So there's been some debate because it was like the article I pulled said remaster,
Yeah.
but then another article said remake or remaster. One, I hope it's not a remake because while we kind of questioned whether Last of Us remake should have been a thing with a short turnaround time, Horizon Zero Dawn does not need a remake. Like, remaster is perfectly fine. It just needs touch ups, visuals, just because they updated the Decima engine for her Forbidden West. Just do a touch up. You don't need to rebuild it from the ground up again, like a 5-year-old game. Like, I hope it's not a remake. But what this coincide, this is starting to look like, even though it's a couple years late, Sony's plan for the PS4, where it's like, hey, we got some big bangers already that are out. We got some more on the horizon, pun intended, but we need time. Let's port over some games that you loved or update some games that you want to play again, type of thing, and to hold you over till we can get these big AAA blockbusters out. So this is what it's starting to feel like with The Last of Us Part 1 remake,
Mhm.
if this remaster for Zero Dawn is true. So, you know.
For me, like, hey, if they want to remake it, dude. They're going to charge $70 regardless. So
Fair.
if they're going to put this time into it and charge $70, remake it from the ground up. Give me all those beautiful graphics, like fix quality of life, make it play as good as
Yeah.
Forbidden West. Like, do it. Like, update the character models, do all those good things.
Fix the lip syncing.
Yeah, all of that, because they're going to charge $70 regardless if it's a remaster or a remake. Like,
Because
that
they want money.
they want money. And I just had this thought, we get different versions of movies. Like, let's say Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings. And when we went from DVD to Blu-ray,
Yeah.
we got an updated version of Lord of the Rings. They up-resed everything and they look amazing and gorgeous.
And now with 4K, they've done it again.
Yep. And that's where we are with Sony, is like, we've got these amazing games, these amazing stories. We're putting them out on PC now, but we don't want these stories to just be limited to PlayStation 4 for them to, go the way of the dodo. We want to bring them into our new console. And I think that's what they're doing. Yes. Do they need time to make new stuff? They absolutely do.
Yeah.
Do they have great companies that do amazing at remakes? Oh yeah, baby, they got all of those things there. So, like, we're in this weird place where we're fixing to get some really good games from PlayStation, but I think we're going to see a lot more remakes, remasters than we were really counting on. But that's also, you got a brand new system. Like, you want to see these things. Like, Last of Us got a remaster as soon as the PlayStation 4 launched. So it was weird to get a remake, but hey, we just got a new console. That's like one of their crown jewels. Horizon has panned out to be one of their crown jewels. I can see that definitely happening. What are they going to do after that? Do we see God of War 2018 getting that treatment down the road?
Because we got the short end of the stick with that one.
Yeah, we definitely did. So there's a lot of interesting things going on in Horizon realm. And let's talk about this last one before we get into some quickies and then our re-review of God of War 2018. But first up, Horizon multiplayer spinoff reportedly in the works for PlayStation 5 and PC.
A separate report on VGC has revealed that Guerrilla Games has been wanting to expand the Horizon series with a multiplayer title, with co-op having originally been planned for Horizon Zero Dawn before being scrapped. The feature was also planned for Horizon Forbidden West, but was saved for a standalone title or Horizon 3. So we've kind of heard this, like we saw this with Zero Dawn. They were gearing up. They bought a new studio because they wanted to split into two teams. And we had heard rumblings that they wanted to do a multiplayer title, which fits in with Sony's future plans with live service, multiplayer games, that kind of thing. but we all expected Killzone to come back because that's what
Mhm.
Guerrilla did prior to Horizon. Because, well, how would you do a Horizon multiplayer game? Well, now it's looking more and more likely that it's going to be a Horizon multiplayer game. And thinking about it, it would be similar in the vein of like what Tomb Raider 2013 multiplayer was, but hopefully it'll be a lot better than Tomb Raider 2013 multiplayer because that was utter garbage. Um, I would like to see like hopefully it's in the vein of like, and this is probably not fair because again it's PlayStation, like
Mhm.
Last of Us Factions type of thing where, especially with if you base it off Forbidden West with like all the different tribes, especially the new ones they introduced, like
Yep.
I would like to play as the Tanakh, the
Oh
warrior
yeah.
tribe, like that would be dope. To build my own Tanakh warrior,
Mhm.
and do like their own little faction type thing, faction wars. I would wonder though if how much of PvPvE would they do because obviously you're going to have the player versus player, but what's one of the other staples of Horizon is the machines, and
Yeah.
I feel like if you're going to do a multiplayer, you have to incorporate the machines in some form or fashion.
Yeah, so here's my bold prediction, Derek. You ready for it?
Okay,
You
all
already
right.
you already kind of slightly hit on it. It will be like factions, but it's going to be a battle royale. Okay,
Oh, okay.
you're gonna choose your avatar, whatever it's going to be,
Hmm.
and you're going to be dropped into a huge area that's going to have machines because you're going
Yeah,
to have to kill machines and
yeah,
harvest parts to build stuff so you can do X, Y, and Z, and then you're going to be able to squad up or you'll be able to solo queue and be able to take people down. You got people hiding, you got people doing stealth, you got people hacking, like if they get enough resources that they can start hacking the actual like robots and
yeah,
everything. That's I would love to see that. And be able to unlock different skins, unlock different power upgrades or whatever, loadouts that you can get,
yeah,
that sort of deal. I think Horizon would lend itself to that kind of gameplay better than like a even like factions. Like the
yeah,
it's kind of limitless here because like the crafting aspect of it would make it
yeah,
would make the battle royale a little fresh, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
it's not like you've got guns, you've got bows and arrows, you've got trip casters, you've got different things.
yeah,
And doing like a squad based thing, like if you got a trap jaw or whatever, I like Thunderjaw. That's
yeah,
right. You got a Thunderjaw. You could take it out, but you might waste all your ammo, and another team squad or whatever comes up behind you, wipes you out, and then takes out the
yeah,
Thunderjaw. And then they get all the
yeah,
bounty. Kind of like how Call of Duty just did like King Kong and Godzilla.
yeah,
Like they
yeah,
can have the bigger things kind of be they're high risk, high reward. So I think
yeah, yeah,
Horizon BR, which sounds absolutely insane, Derek.
yeah,
Horizon BR would be really, really cool to be able to do this instead of, like you said, a Tomb Raider or, a la Uncharted 4.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like that would be so boring and so like, man, this is so 15, 2016,
yeah.
like phoning in Sony like multiplayer. Like I don't want anything like that. I want
Yeah,
something that's more robust.
right. My only addendum to that would be, I don't want it to be solely a battle royale. Like
Mhm.
you can have battle royale in there, but I would like other modes to be in there as well. Like you can definitely create some things like maybe like a boss rush, type of thing where first
Yeah.
one to take down, like you start off with scrappers or burrowers, and then you work your way up to tide rippers, and then go up to
Yeah.
slither fangs, and
Like a horde mode.
Thunderjaws, exactly. And like the first one to run that gauntlet, wins it for their team type of thing. So I would like I would like them to have I I'm not saying battle royales are bad, but I
No,
think,
no.
they're kind of overdone. Like you have your three at the top that are the kings, and then everyone else is just like a pale imitation.
Yeah.
So I hope like they can have a battle royale mode.
Mhm.
I just don't want it to be the sole attraction.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I wouldn't want just a battle royale, but I think that makes the most sense out of it.
Oh yeah,
Just
for sure.
having a horde mode, which I love horde mode. It's one of my favorite modes out of any Gears of War. I always love playing
Yeah.
it, but it only goes so far. You know, but it could be cool where you could, like horde mode, buy the different, you know, upgrades, you know, defenses and all of that kind of stuff. And then, dude, if you get past like the Thunderjaws and you've got enough points, it hits a bonus level where one of those huge machines that always broke down, but we actually get to fight one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, so many good things, so many rumors from Horizon Zero Dawn to multiplayer to all of those things, guys. We can't wait for more Horizon, but
Horizon looks bright.
It does. It looks very bright. We got some quickies though to tide you over while you wait.
Yeah. So, starting off with an interesting one, Sony looking to manufacture 2 million PSVR 2 units by March 2023. PlayStation Stars Level 4 members also receive top priority for chat support in the West. Sony doesn't rule out making new PS4 games going forward, is evaluation on a case-by-case basis. Sony looking at further investment to help drive its PC and mobile gaming push. PlayStation's recent investment into From Software might include TV and movie opportunities. PlayStation's live service games could launch day and date on PC, but others will take a year. Sony isn't moving away from single-player games despite its live service push. A rumor, a list of upcoming games from Sony seems to have leaked, cites unannounced titles from Guerrilla, Kojima Productions, Firesprite, and more. Multiple PlayStation studios are utilizing the Decima engine from Guerrilla to make new games. This is a la EA. God of War Ragnarok game length is reportedly 40 hours, with half dedicated solely to the campaign.
Sounds delicious to me.
40
20
hours of campaign and 20 hours of side quests. Give it to me.
Oh man, I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. I just want to hit one quick thing in the quickies.
Yeah.
This investment to From Software, I feel like it is like their step towards buying them, because like
That'd be crazy.
It's been something that I feel like PlayStation has kind of like wanted but didn't want to like show their hand. But
well, they teased it with Bloodborne, but the only thing is with Sekiro for sure, and with Elden Ring, even though they didn't do it as much like they did with Sekiro, Xbox has had more of the marketing. Now that could have just been shelling out more money to have the marketing for the mind share, but I don't know. I feel like Xbox would be like, don't do this.
Well, Xbox is tied up right now. Like
that's true.
You know,
they've got their own problems to worry about.
This whole Activision Blizzard thing, which we're not getting to that this week, but
no.
I would love to see PlayStation owning From Software. I would love to see that. You know, I'm not even a From Software fan, but like getting another Bloodborne, you know, it's something that people have wanted for so long. You know, speaking of remakes, why not remake Bloodborne? Like that is like an easy walk it in.
FPS update has been the most requested thing for like the last year and a half.
Yeah, like just like polish it up, remake, remaster. I don't care. Just do it, because we got Demon Souls and that's so crazy. You know, from Blue Point remade it and everything. But you know, hey, only time will tell. I think they're on to it. Joe talking about the 40 hours for God of War is literally a full work week.
Yeah.
Yep.
So just take a week off from work, spend 8 hours a day playing it for 5 days a week, and you'll beat it.
You know, that's something I would do. You know what I mean? Like it's worth it. It's worth it. You know,
I had the vacation time.
yeah, same. Just started a new job, can't take off. But speaking of God of War, it is time, my dudes, my dudettes. God of War 2018. We're going to be jumping into our re-review of the game. We're going to be talking about some highlights. We're going to be talking about some gameplay. We're going to be talking about changes that we want to see going into Ragnarok. So if you played God of War, we want to hear your thoughts on these moments. We're not going to go like step by step, day by day, like we've done in the past. We're going to kind of hit highlights and that sort of stuff. What resonated, what tickled our ears and everything. So let's start off with some story. I kind of listed some stuff out, you know. First up, that Baldur fight, man. That thing still holds up.
Yep, for sure. It all starts with a knock on the door, and he's like, you know what I want. You know what I'm here for. And it's like, whoa, all right. I don't even know who you are.
Exactly. And like it feels so good. Like it feels better than any superhero game that I've played in a
Yeah.
superhero fight. And that's including Batman, Spider-Man, Infamous. Like it is the
Yeah.
best superhero fight
Yeah.
out of any fight. And
I
man,
mean, you just get thrown around the house. You pretty much break the cliff.
yeah, like just break it in half. But like it sets the tone of this, like this whole game. It's like that something's going on, like you're being sought after, and it's like
Yeah.
you've got to like
And
you
right
got
after you cremate your wife, too.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
You don't even have time to mourn, and it's like, what do you want?
Yeah, it's like there's no breathing room. And I think that's like the whole like thing from this game is it is very intimate and compared to the previous 3 God of Wars, where
Yeah.
it was like more grandiose, bigger
Yeah.
battles, bigger set pieces and everything. This one felt way more intimate in
Yep.
it is a father and son tale losing their mother, his wife, and their journey to her final resting place and
Yep.
all the things that they got to do to get there.
Yep. Because they just thought, oh, go scatter my ashes at the highest point in all the realms. And it's like, okay, you're just talking about here on Midgard. And then it turns out that it's not what they wanted, and a whole bag of worms gets opened up on this one simple little journey.
Yeah, all the realms you didn't listen to her that
Exactly.
closely.
Typical men, they don't fully listen.
Yeah, 100%. But man, that first fight was so good. And then the next thing that stuck out to me, and if I didn't hit one of your points, Derek, you jump in, you
Yeah.
chime in, okay?
Yeah. No.
When we see the world serpent for the first time, my gosh, it was
Yep.
so imposing. And it's like, we fought the Hydra, we've done all of these things, but it's like the
We
world's
fought Titans.
yeah. But man, it just felt like on a whole nother scale.
Yeah. Well, and especially because when you see a giant creature from if you've played all of the rest of the God of War titles, you pretty much know, all right, let me get my weapons ready, let me get my powers ready because I'm about to have to kill it. And it's like Atreus listens to it and is like, he's here to help, and you're like, that's help? That's help? What kind of help are you providing, my guy? Because you look like you want to eat me.
Yeah. And like you can't understand him. You're like this weird language, but just the scale. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, because it's a serpent.
Right. Yeah.
The scale of the world serpent is just mind boggling. And I love how the world serpent plays into the game, not just the final boss battle and everything, but before he moves, before you ever see it, the lake looks one way. And then when it moves
Yeah.
one time, it looks a different way. And then when he moves the third time,
Yeah.
it's totally different. Like it is such an interesting way to use storytelling
Yep.
to affect the world that you're able to go to and explore, because there's a lot of puzzles that you can't even go to and see until he moves the third time.
Yeah. Which means, and he's got it. He only moves when you hit story, like main story beats. So it forces you to progress the story to unlock more, to be able to earn the right to get a break and explore what the rest of the world has to offer. And if you're ever need reminding like how big this Joker is, when you go to like certain areas in the Lake of Nine, like you'll be there's like one area like that you get up and close and personal with like the side of his body, and you're just like, that's a big snake.
Yeah. Not even to mention when you have to go inside of him.
Oh yeah, that's true. That still blew my mind when it's like, oh, the other piece of the travel rune, it was on Thor's statue, and you think about it, it's like, well, he ate the statue. How am I gonna do this? And he's like, oh, he'll let us inside his belly. Come again?
Yeah. Oh man, it reminded me of like the old God of Wars, like going inside of a creature like that and everything. And Joe, you definitely should play the old God of Wars. It's more arcadey than this. This is very tight and over the shoulder and everything. But speaking of the world serpent and the connection that we see with Atreus and everything,
Yeah.
the moment that sticks out in my mind so vividly is when Atreus gets sick,
Yes.
where like,
Because we had heard this before, like leading up into like when he started his journey, because Kratos is like, I don't know if you want to do this, if you should come with me, or if we want to keep going. And he's like, I haven't been sick in a long time. I'll be fine. And it's like, okay, that's a weird thing to bring up when we haven't seen it. Then all of a sudden it happens. But it also is nice to see that, because through this journey, Kratos is also learning how to be a father, because he's just basically been training Atreus, and Faye, the mother, has been like the nurturer, the protector of Atreus type of deal. And Kratos doesn't have to worry about it. Now that Faye is gone, Kratos has to fill both roles, and he starts off poorly, being the sympathetic figure, like the caregiver type of thing. And then this is when Atreus falls ill. It finally dawns on Kratos, I need to do right by my son. Let me help him out.
Yeah, and like so many times, like when he reaches out to his hand, like he's going to
Watch him,
console.
you fool!
I'm like, dude, just do it. Like you're more of a man when you do that than just being, I'm gruff and all of that. And you know, just I'm pretty sure this is right. I don't even think he trained Atreus. I think he just like went and hunted and like avoided him.
That's probably true.
Because like Atreus even says like, you are never around and everything. So like this kid's, 10 years old or so. And like, he's never really been around his father other than like, it made it more seem like he was just being, just dealt with, he's like, you're just here and everything. But man, that boat ride, so intense, dude. So intense.
And I mean, it started, I touched on it last time or a couple weeks ago. It's like when you realize like, oh, you have to go to Helheim in order to help him make sick. And he's like, but it is super cold. Your frost axe won't get you there. You have to find a heat source. And he's like, I know of one. Touches his forearm. I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna do it.
Yeah.
Let's go. And then that whole boat ride, because you see it like, and the tone in the premise is set so perfectly, because you got that storm, because Zeus is all looking around you like, where are he at? I know he's here. he killed my nephews. What's he gonna do? And he's just going on that boat like the thing, and then it keeps cutting away, because when I finally put two and two together, I'm like, are we gonna see a little bit of literally a ghost of his past? And all of a sudden it's like, what up, Athena? How you doing?
Dude, that was such like, it was just like, oh God, here we go again. I was like, I thought you were dead.
There's the Stockholm syndrome kicking in.
Yeah.
And then he's like, because she doesn't say anything, and then like he says, Athena. And then like that's it. Like she doesn't say anything. Then he goes to the house, goes inside, and then that whole like build up, like because he's begrudgingly do it, because I think he was like so glad to get those off his arms. And then the realization that you can't escape your past, and he's like slowly doing it. And then Athena's like, whether this is just in his head or this is her really coming back, like, I understand he didn't do right by her toward the end of this trilogy, but like she was just a straight up jerk. Like, you're just a monster. Like, you'll never be a father. And it's like, back up. Hold on. You helped make me this way. What are you like? Who are you to judge me?
Yeah. Like that whole boat ride, getting the chains. Like, what was interesting at the beginning, like when Balder comes there, Kratos says, go down below, and Atreus is like, you told me never to go down there, and it's like,
oh yeah,
like something down there.
And it's like there's some, and it's like there's a reason for that. But and then like, eagle-eyed people, like I didn't notice it the first time, but knowing that, I kind of looked for it the second time. If you paid attention, like there's a quick glimpse of like the garb that it's wrapped in right there, and it's like, if it's a blink and you miss it moment, and it's like, knowing what I know now, I'm like, I missed it.
Going back real quick, because I want to hit this. When Atreus gets sick, the boat ride I was talking about was him like going to find Freya. Man,
Oh yeah.
that was so intense. Like even the second time, it still felt intense, but that first time,
Yeah.
dude, I remember like I was on pins and needles, and then that elevator ride where Kratos just starts pacing, and it's
Yeah.
like you can feel that moment, and it's like
Yep.
even if you're not a dad, like you can still feel it because like you've
Yeah.
come to like associate like this is my son and everything, but like Kratos starts pacing. He's like a wild animal that can't do anything. Like he's a
Yep.
man of action and he's like trapped in that moment and he's just got to wait it out until you get to the top of it. And and asking for help from a god. Like he thought he
Yes.
never would get into that position.
Yep.
But dude, and going to Helheim and doing all the kind of stuff there. The second time you go, and I don't have this in our notes, but
Yeah.
the whole Zeus thing showing
Oh yeah.
up.
Like Kratos is like, Zeus, what are you doing here? I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Oh, it was such a great use. Like, even though we know like it was all illusions, because of Helheim, like that whole setup was genius.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And I like the little banter because once because it was revealed that Freya was a god when they brought Mimir back to life.
Mhm.
And then Kratos immediately does a 180 and is like, yeah, I can't trust you no more. See ya, peace. And then he comes back, and then the little banter she has, she's like, still a god, can't help you.
Yeah, and it's like she's like, "Yeah, you're a god too, dummy."
Yeah, I
You
know.
It's like pot calling the kettle black type deal, but there's so many like little things in this game that later come to pass.
Yeah.
There's a point where Sidri gives you a set of arrows that shoot straighter and everything. And we see a moment where Freya like freaks out. She's like, why do you
Yeah.
have these? These are evil things.
And
And
just throws him into her fire.
and then she gives you like arrows of her own and everything. You're like, okay, like whatever. But you find out later because in your last fight with Balder, which was,
Yeah.
did you like the first or the second fight better? Which one was your favorite?
The second one was more of an epic set piece, but the first one definitely set the tone. I think it was better,
Yeah.
better paced because Freya interfered too much.
I
think, in the
agree.
second fight.
I
So-
agree. Like it slowed it down a little bit too much for my opinion.
Yeah.
But there's a moment earlier in the game where Atreus's his like little thing
His
that
notch.
yeah,
or
his
his,
notch
like, strap.
for his arrows and everything, it breaks and Kratos uses one of those mistletoe arrows to tie it together. And it's this little moment, but there's a part where Balder hits Atreus and there's blood everywhere. And
like, I can feel.
well, and like Kratos is like, boy, like or Atreus, I can't even remember what he calls him. But like he freaks out thinking it's his blood, and Atreus is like, it's not my blood. And then you see Balder, he's like,
Yeah.
I can feel it's like snow and all of this. And then we like the crazy, like the fight amps up from there.
Yeah.
But dude, like that second fight, the very ending of that fight with like there's a moment where Kratos is about to kill him and Atreus is like, he's beaten. He can't do anything anymore. And that's something that Kratos said earlier to Atreus.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. And then the twist and turns, the heart pumping of this. And Freya's like, oh, my baby, oh, my baby, oh, my baby. And like the messed up, up, like
Family dynamic.
is so like,
It's a god thing.
yeah. And Kratos has seen all of this and everything.
Yeah.
And
he
then,
lived it.
yeah, he lived it. He did everything that Balder was about to do.
Yeah.
And he's literally choking her to death. And he told him before that, he's like, you will not hurt her. You will not come after us. That is the deal. And then like he starts doing it. And dude, it was such a moment. It was such a moment.
And now let me ask you a question with this. Do you think Kratos was in the right? Because yes, while he I get it because he lived it, he breathed it, he saw the backlash it caused when he did do it, and now Freya was ready to give up because she was wanting to end this cycle for her as well because with how her marriage, because you get
Yeah.
it throughout all the story. Freya begrudgingly married Odin to save her people.
Mm-hmm.
Then after he wanted only and Odin wanted stuff out of it,
Yeah.
and then when Freya finally said I have enough, then he imprisoned her on Midgard, never to go to another realm again, especially her home world. So she was ready to end it just to be free
Yeah.
in some regard. And Kratos wanted to break the cycle of the kids killing their parents,
Yeah.
and then but
Yeah.
gained a new enemy in Freya, which we'll see in Ragnarok. Plays how it plays out. Do you think Kratos was in the right to step in and interfere with another family's dynamics?
Well, yeah, I do. The reason because he said, "This is the deal. I'm letting you live, and here are the terms."
But all right, but regardless of the terms he said, just in the sense of interfering in someone else's battle, like regardless of what he said, do you think even though he warned Balder, do you think he should have still done it?
Yeah. Yeah. I would have
Okay.
totally done it. Like if I was in Kratos' place, like, yeah, someone trying to kill somebody else, take them out. You know what I
Especially if
mean?
that person has helped you out. I mean, up until the final
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah. And this, like, this other person is just called grief and strife and hurt your kid. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I almost killed you like 2 seconds ago. And now you're giving me even more reason to kill you. Yeah.
Right.
Snap, crackle, pop, baby. You know what I mean? Like, was it a difficult decision? Yes. Was it something that I think Kratos is going to come to rue the day? I think so, because Freya is crazy. Freya is absolutely crazy.
A little bit.
And I saw something on I think it was PlayStation, like they put out like a piece of art or whatever of like Freya like holding Balder. Like it was saying like she was like part of the Valkyries at some point in time, which I don't even know.
Yeah. So I mean, I kind of looked at it because I still haven't I did a lot. I beat Muspelheim. I did a lot in Niflheim, but I never finished it. Never beat the Valkyrie Queen or whatnot yet. But I did spoil it for myself. This was like years ago after I first played it because I'm like, well, what happens when you beat the Valkyrie Queen? You find out that Freya used to be part of the Valkyries, and it's like, whoa, okay, this I don't know if she used to be the queen or over the Valkyries, but she was involved with the Valkyries in some form or fashion.
Yeah. So, and remind me of Valkyrie Queen when we get to gameplay.
Yeah.
Just remind me of that. Joe says the killing of Balder starts Ragnarok. Yeah.
Yep.
So like it starts Ragnarok, everything's snow and all of that. Like he can feel he's dead and all of that. One thing I want to hit before we get into the last part, going to Jotunheim, which is a huge part of it. Atreus being a jerk after finding out he's a god. My lord.
He gets so arrogant. I was like, there was one point, like I found this out. I didn't know there was this. You couldn't do this. There was one point where he was just mouthing off, and I'm like, you know what? Let me throw my axe at you. I know it won't hurt you, and it doesn't. When you put the aiming reticle, it doesn't let you throw it at Atreus. And I'm like, that's a missed opportunity, especially for this moment right here, because I would want to. Let me put you over my knee, boy.
Yeah, dude. Like it snapped, and like I understand it's like, okay, you just learned that you're a god, and you've seen how the gods act and everything from your time around and all that, but it was so out of character of Atreus. Did you feel like that was a break in storytelling? Because before that, like he cared about people, he wanted to do the right thing, and it was just like, oh, now I'm a god, now I'm a jerk, and it's like it felt a little
injury, just wants to callously kill Modi,
yeah.
I don't think it was a break, but I think it was rushed.
Yeah.
Like he does a 180 in like a span of like, it feels like 10 minutes. And now granted, yes, he wasn't told, like Kratos did tell him they were gods. However, he didn't tell him the whole story until the end, until Freya forced him to. Like he's like, look, I was a god. I was just like them. I was arrogant. I thought I knew it all. I thought I could rule the world, or like change the world and get rid of the gods that were ruling over it because they weren't doing right.
Mhm.
And it didn't work out. Like, I have no home world to go. I have no home to go back to. I ruined it. Be better than me.
Yeah. Yeah, it felt rushed compared like the pacing before that moment was so well done, and then it was
Yeah.
just kind of like it just felt off.
It's
And that
like they felt like they had to get to get to the last third of the story, but they
mhm.
didn't want to drag that part on too long, but at the expense of they made it too short.
Yeah, yeah. And I would suggest if you're doing the exploration part of the game, get past the part where he's a jerk so you don't hear whatever,
Yeah, I
whatever.
know. He's like,
What
boy, whatever, sure. You know, like the whole like little stuff, it just amped it up even more, and it's like, wait, let me get my blades. Let me.
look, boy, boy. I think that's also us being from the South. It's like you don't mouth off.
No,
You know what I mean?
no. Don't matter if you're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, you still respect your mama.
Exactly, 100%. So we finally get to Jotunheim, and there's this moment with Kratos where before we, ascend and all of that, he
Yeah.
like takes off the wrappings and he's like, I have nothing else to hide. He's
Yep.
told
He
Atreus
finally lets
everything.
go of his past.
That is such a good moment. And then what does
Yeah.
Atreus do? Are we gonna get moving? It's like, boy,
Whoa!
boy. But throughout the whole game, Atreus is asking, "Can I carry mother? Can I carry mother? Can I carry mother?" And
And
then
they finally get there.
they finally get there, and he's able to carry her. And then we see this mural pop
Yes.
up, and it shows everything. And
Yeah.
before
Even
this,
stuff that just happened right before they got there.
it's like you didn't realize all of these things, but it was already
Yeah.
foreseen by the giants, which you
Yeah.
find out Faye, his mother, and
giant.
is a giant, and all of the markings, all the little gold markings that have been across the everywhere, like, hey, you need to go here, was her
Yep.
putting those symbols, and it's just like your mind just goes boom. Like I remember the
Yeah, I
first time
know.
I found that out, I was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
It's crazy. It is just mind-boggling. Like, it's almost like they see this and Faye was guiding them. It's like, all right, you need to go here. No. Go here. You need this first, and then you can come back here. It's just ridiculous. And I don't know. It raises a lot of questions about the Giants in general, and like
Mhm.
what kind of and like what. But it also kind of explained why Tyr was so fascinated and wanted to protect their realm
Yep.
so badly, because Tyr knew if Odin got this, whatever this was, like this future knowledge,
Yep.
it was over. Like that
Mhm.
was it. That's all she wrote. And he's like, I need to go to the utmost extremes, hiding the tower to Jotunheim in the realm between realms, so Odin can never get to it. Is just like, wow. You finally, you don't get the entire answer to the test, but you start to get hints.
Yeah. And then we just, we popped that thing back there, but everybody's dead already. So, whatever.
Yeah, I know. This
Uh,
whole buildup, and then you just like, and you don't even. And I tried to see it like when Kratos takes off the bandages. I tried to see it before you got to the top, just to see if I could start seeing the hints there
mhm.
too. But it wasn't until you get to the top that you just see the corpses laying about, and it's like, man, what happened? Like, who did
Yeah.
Odin or Thor get here? Find a way to get here regardless, or like what? I'd like to know. There's so much I'd like to see answered in Ragnarok, but we'll get to that.
Yes.
We'll get to that in a moment.
Including in this mural, we saw a part with Kratos and his future.
Yeah, with Atreus, we don't know what's going on. Like,
Mhm.
you see this like ethereal spiritual power emanating from Atreus's mouth and Kratos's mouth. You don't know if if it's feeding from one to the other. You don't know what's going on. You can formulate all you want to. The main part is you're left with a bunch of questions, and like the way it's set up, because you see it, and it's like, I forget, is it just Atreus or is it both of them that see it at the end?
It's just Kratos.
Kratos, yeah. So it's just Kratos. Like Atreus doesn't see it, and like there's just like tarp, and it blows, and you see that, and it's like, it's almost like they don't want you. They didn't want to show it, but it's like we want to tease you so
Yeah.
hard and make you have so many questions about what the sequel is going to bring
Yeah.
that we're just going to make you agonize over it.
100%. And like Kratos is missing an arm in that painting.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's just like,
Ooh.
you got so many questions, and it's like, okay, now I got to go to the top of the mountain. And then we find out one of the most interesting pieces of the puzzle.
The mic drop, essentially.
And Kratos is talking to Atreus, and he was like, yeah, your mom wanted to name you Loki.
Well, no, it's even like the setup Atreus, like it's so well done. He's like, I'm confused by one thing. They kept calling me by the wrong name in the mural. They called me Loki. And it's like, what?
Yeah. It was just
like the first time I played it, I dropped my controller and I yelled, and my sister and my brother were like, are you good?
Yeah, it was just this huge moment of just like, and then everything starts clicking when he finds out he's a god. He's like, well, can I change into like an animal? And
like all the things Loki can do.
Yeah, his connection with the world serpent, which is one of his kids.
Yeah.
And like the whole story of like how he got like sent back in time, like all this kind of crazy stuff. And it was like, oh my God.
Because then you start piecing it together, because then the world serpent's like when Mimir talks to him the first time, he's like, oh, nothing. He just recognizes the boy. He seems familiar. And Atreus is like, I've never met the world serpent till now. And it's like, okay.
Dude. Joe says, I was so shocked. Yeah, it was such a big mic drop moment. And I think we talked about this last week. The story that Kratos tells once they come back down about how Atreus
named him Atreus.
So good. Like it was just like
beautiful.
this little thing, but it helps tie everything together. And then we get back, and then Fimbulwinter is started, and so many
as discerned by Brock and Sindri in their own colorful way.
Yeah. Our stream got a little taste of that when I was trying to show the new overlay and everything. There's one last thing before we get into gameplay, and that's if you go back to your house, you're presented a little Easter egg nugget.
Yep. After
you finish the game. And that is Thor outside of your house. Dude, I cannot wait.
Whether it's a dream sequence or, foreshadowing, like all of a sudden you hear this thunder, like this thunderstorm just raining down, and then you just see this figure, and he brushes aside his cloak, and you see Mjolnir, and it's like, oof.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So let's talk about some gameplay.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we missed that you wanted to hit on Big Beats?
No, we hit all the ones I wanted to hit on anyway.
Okay. See, we're the same, dude. We're the same. Yeah. We know. Yeah, Brock knew it was his moment to shine on our stream. One of the cool things that I loved about the gameplay, and we can kind of talk about one of Joe's comments as well, Mimir telling stories in the boat or as you're traveling, dude, it made the game feel so much more alive. Like we got the little murals or whatever, like that,
the Jotnar shrines.
Yeah, those were really cool, but it's like you had to go in and read it, and you didn't really get much more than what Atreus was telling you.
But then he adds to it.
Yes. Oh man, so good. And one of the most upsetting moments is when I was playing through it originally, and then he ran out of stories, and I was like, no.
I know.
I was like, no. You should have recorded more voice lines.
I know. Even if it was tomfoolery, it would have just been good. But yeah, and it's like going back to the lore building, like when you open the first couple of Jotnar shrines, you get, Atreus discerns them as best he can. And you have already those preconceived notions about what's happening. Mm-hmm. And then you bring that up, and then as you're rowing the boat, because that's when it majority happened, either that or when you traveled in the realm between realms.
Yep.
Atreus would bring up, hey, what about this thing? It's kind of crazy how this on Mimir, and sometimes Mimir would be like, no, that's not exactly true. And you get the actual history, and it's like, okay, all right, I like this course correction, you know, like it opens, it kind of expands upon it, like especially with Thor and Odin, and like
Mm,
you really, yes, we understand like in this realm the gods are bad, you know, like they're not, you know, it's like the thing, never meet your heroes
yeah.
because they will let you down, like, and it's no different than the Greek gods, like Kratos learned firsthand. He's like, yeah, the gods don't care. They just care about getting fat and happy. And Mimir sheds that light on Zeus, on Odin and Thor. It's like, yeah, they just kind of wanted to rule it for themselves and gain the power for themselves. It's like, okay, they're jerks too.
Yeah.
I love the consistency at least.
Yeah. Just go get drunk and then go kill a giant for no reason.
Yeah,
Just because he got lost, you know.
just a typical Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah. This is Thor. Thor Thursday. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
On Thor Thursday, we find a giant to kill. Yeah. You know, that's all good.
exactly.
One of the cool things that I like, you know, I was thinking about Hercules in God of War 3. He was a jerk. The big old
Yeah.
lion hands.
Oh yeah,
Man, that
and
dude
you're
was
technically supposed to be your half brother.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I loved Mimir telling stories, added so much to the game. Joe said that he said, I respect the devs that made sure you can still access places even after the water receded. And it was
Yep.
cool how like places that you would have visited before, it's like, oh, well, there's a chest over there. Let me go get that. And then the water recedes all the way. And then you see this whole puzzle
Yeah,
like that's in there. It was so well thought out that even if you visited there before when the water was on level, even the second level, you could still go back the third level most times and find something new to explore and to, you know, do, which is
yeah.
one of the most interesting things that they did. Is there's so much depth within this story that you can play Golden Path
Oh yeah.
or you can go and do everything.
Yep.
So I love that. I love that.
Same. So, go
But New Game Plus, we both played on New Game Plus.
Yep.
It is a totally different beast, man.
for sure, especially if you what difficulty you play on.
Yeah. And for anyone that hasn't played it, or like, I wish I would have went back and played it regular. Okay.
Yeah.
The reason I'm saying that is I don't remember a ton of the stuff like having to
Yeah.
upgrade or level. But dude, playing on New Game Plus, it felt like I blew through everything. Like I might have died twice out of the whole game, and that was because I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
But like most of the fights, it was just like a walk in the park. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Just like that. Like what was that? Where I feel like it's a scene from a movie where it's just like you point your fingers and just stuff blows up, or like the problem gets taken care of itself. He's like, just throw your axe, whip your blades,
Yeah.
you know, have Atreus shoot it. Like especially like with the art, with I feel like the ranged enemies, like of course they're going to be weaker by nature
Mm,
because their strength is ranged, but like Atreus, like I don't remember in the first playthrough Atreus one-shotting them and they're dead. Like in the New Game Plus, like there's a lot of ranged enemies where he just one-shots. I'm just like,
yeah.
okay, y'all are way weaker than I remember.
Yeah. And like I set mine where everybody starts at level 5 because I was like
Yeah.
level 8, 9 at that point.
Once you fixed your save anyway.
Yeah, once I fixed my save. And that brings me to the like not really remembering like the upgrading and everything. Like
Mhm.
there's a whole different like set of upgrades that you get within New Game Plus.
Yeah,
For
it's
any
like all the same armor, but like a upgraded version for new, it's like armor of the Valkyrie plus or whatever it is, you know.
yeah. And then you actually get some armor that you don't see within the game as well, because like you get the travelers, the ancient armor and all that, but then you get
Yes.
like Spartan armor, you get like
Yes.
you get Zeus armor as well. And like there's
Yep.
like one that I was wearing, I got a full set of like totally different armor. There was even like skills like with your chains that
Yeah.
you unlock. So there was like a whole nother, which I was glad that there was something to unlock, because you know, not having anything would have been so boring.
Yeah.
Because that's a big part of it. But I felt detached from like having to like, you know, manage my equipment, manage my
Yeah.
skills, my XP. Like I'd get XP, which in New Game Plus you can sell. I don't know if you knew that. you can go in and sell all the XP that you get that you never get to use because you don't even use it at that point.
Yeah, because I mean, once you upgrade everything, XP is pointless.
Yeah. So you can sell it because you're getting so much scap slag and all of that you
Yeah.
can, upgrade more and more stuff. But yeah, it definitely feels different when you're playing New Game Plus compared to a regular playthrough.
Yeah.
It feels detached, not in a bad way, because you've already worked your butt off. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You've already worked your butt off. This is your victory lap. You know what I mean?
This is your treat for after the marathon.
So Valkyries. I went and I fought some Valkyries and everything. I have not went back to the Valkyrie Queen with my upgraded Kratos because I have not. I'm missing like 2 or 3. I haven't done Hiffelheim's and I haven't found. There's one more in Midgard that I haven't gotten to. Last night I jumped on the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
I fired up my old save before I did New Game Plus.
Yeah.
And I tried to beat the Valkyrie Queen.
Oh gosh. Rip.
Dude, I spent like an hour or so just trying to beat her. And I got close. Like I got like that much left. Like her bar is normally, it's pretty big, but I got down to like the last fourth. And just getting wrecked, dude. Like I even switched my resurrection stone to not a berserk stone to the one below that, so I would have health and everything.
Yeah.
But dude, I couldn't beat her. Like I could not beat her. I even bumped down the difficulty to try to beat her, and like I just could not because I was like capped out. Like I didn't have enough resources to do anything. I think if I would have went and farmed a little bit before then, I think I could have, because I was going in without any rage. So like I didn't have myself like prepped for it, but dude, I could not beat her. And that's still
crazy.
That elusive
that's more elusive than a chicken dinner from PUBG back in the day.
Yeah. So when I have time, I might go back into my New Game Plus and finish it out so I can beat her, drop down the difficulty, and just whoop her with my level 10 plus Kratos and everything. But, overall, like the gameplay is super, super solid. Is anything you want to add with gameplay mechanics or lore?
Just like with the gameplay, like just with the gameplay in general, I know you didn't do it. You were just golden pathing it so we can get to our review. But I did all the side quests again, and the dragon storyline is still the most interesting ones, just because of like, especially like some of the last one, because it's a much bigger area and you have a lot other stuff to do. I feel like that's because I mean you get introduced to in like the first major boss battle after Baldur, when you ascend the mountain, and then it's like, okay, are you gonna have more dragons? And then you have the tease of it as a side quest, and it's like, okay, that's still really cool to do. The other ones, the favors and whatnot are still good, but the dragon storylines and like how they turned into like what they were before is still intriguing to me. In terms of, but that's like the other thing I just wanted to hit. But the rest of it, we talked about.
What were they before? I can't remember.
They were. I don't know if all 3 of them were, but they were definitely kings. I know one of them was a dwarven king.
Okay, that's right. Okay, yeah, Joe apparently beat her.
So, congrats.
Yeah,
because I know.
GG's in the chat, y'all.
Yeah.
So let's jump into the things we want to see change for Ragnarok, and the first one up, dude, is more enemy types and variants.
And I wanted to touch on this. Okay, here's my fear, because obviously we haven't gotten a good look at all the enemy types, especially for the other realms. But the first gameplay trailer, and like that snapshot of like that crocodile lizard lunging at Kratos that you see in a lot of like screenshots or whatever. Yep. I pray this is not, because when we talked about Horizon Forbidden West, in the beginning, until they started actually showing the actual new machines, those first couple of machines you get introduced to felt like variants of ones we had already faced in Zero Dawn. I pray they don't do this in God of War, where it's like, all right, those little like burrowing like saber-toothed monster lizards, like this crocodile one is just a variant of that, and it does the same exact thing. and like I pray that it's just not copy and paste with like different names and like different like skin texture or whatever. So
Yeah.
I do agree, more enemy types is a good thing, especially like more variation for like mini bosses, because it was like the
Hmm.
same ones like trolls, um soul eaters or death eaters, and then what was the ogres. Those are like the
Yeah.
same three ones. um I hope we get see a little bit more range from the Norse creatures.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Like, I'm curious because they showed mermaids or what the
Oh,
Norse
that's
version of the
right.
mermaids. Um, we got to see like from the dwarven realm.
Hmm.
I can't remember what it's called. Starts with S. They've got like a different type. Like, I want to see
Oh,
more.
Svartalfheim.
Yeah, I want to see more different types of enemies, like different,
Yeah,
like challenge the combat. Like, I don't want it to feel like
yeah,
it's like, okay, the one of the complaints that I've heard about Gotham Knights is like after 2.5 hours, you have to start trying different things with combat because it's gotten boring. I
yeah.
don't think we're going to get to that, but like
No.
playing back through God of War 2018, it's like, yeah, I remember it's like this got a little stale. Like the story is
Yeah,
the king here, but I think God of War has also always struggled with that.
yeah. Well, and plus, like, the most different thing you would have to do is like they, especially like when you did the Muspelheim trials, they would throw a lot of different enemy types at you at once,
Hmm.
and you'd have to like play a little different. Like, all right, there's the nightmare. Let me range it in and throw it at an enemy, and then and then throw my blades at it and make the enemy come to me and like shield bash it and whatnot. So you'd
Yeah,
have to change up your combo attacks a little bit. But I do agree, make and we saw a little bit of it a couple weeks ago when Game Informer, we saw that video where they showed off combat and like the traversal, like using your
yeah.
blades as like a whip to get around the environment faster. So I feel like different enemies and more enemies on screen will force you to be more tactical with your approach.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and I'm looking forward to it. I think we are going to get a lot of different enemies, but that was my big, like my number one ask is more enemy types to
Hmm.
make it more interesting. My second, just thinking back about the upgrade system, not everything is clear in the upgrade system because
Yeah,
you've got different pieces of armor, you've got sockets, you've got enchantments, you've got
yeah,
blade hilts, you've got Atreus's armor. Then you've got your blades of different skills. You have different unlockables there with your XP. You've got all of these different things. You've got different
hmm,
collectibles, so you can upgrade. Like it was kind of convoluted in how like they slowly dealt it out, but it's like it's a very complex system on the upgrade side of things.
yeah,
And I think that's why a lot of people, Murdoch, I know he didn't enjoy this game and put it down pretty quickly. The RPG elements are not for the faint of heart because it's just kind of
no,
like, here's everything, you know what I
yeah,
mean? So
overwhelm you.
yeah, I think a little bit more straightforward. Now, I don't want it to be dumbed down. Like,
No,
just make a little bit more sense out of this thing. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Now, one thing I will add to that is I do want, like, obviously, yes, they kind of danced around it, but a lot of like the buffs you got were like, oh, you just get a little bit of health regen after this or whatever. I
Mm,
would like a little bit more elemental resistance, like, oh, you get if you put in this
mm,
socket on this piece of armor, you get like 20% fire resistance or
yeah,
less damage from fire, or like poison resistance, or ice resistance. Like, I would like, as big a RPG as they made it, especially with like your axe doing fire or your frost damage and your blades doing fire damage. I would like a little bit, it felt like some of your gear did not play toward that elemental
yeah.
thing, stuff that they were using. So I want that a little bit more incorporate, especially if they're wanting to go more into this RPG realm.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Or it's like, okay, if you are finding a fire type, and you're
Hmm.
using ice, you're going to be more susceptible to fire. So
Exactly.
like you got to kind of play the odds. It's like, well, if I use my chains, then I'm not like as, you know, open to, having that negative buff on me and everything. So I agree with you, like having something to do that, because like you had luck, you had your runic strength, you had vitality, you
Yeah.
had defense and all of these things, and but it's like the simple thing that you would think wasn't even on there. You know,
Exactly.
so
The most glaring, obvious choice was not there.
yeah, 100%. And this is one thing that I want to see gone from the gameplay, and
Yeah.
is the blinding effect that the Dark Elves and the Queen of the Valkyries have. It is
Lord, yes.
the most overused and stupid. Like the first time it happened, I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then the 50th time it happened, it's like, my God.
It's like SpongeBob. Want to see me do it again?
Yeah. It's like, it's I make a joke, Derek, and I know this. Like I'll hammer that joke until it's dead. You know what I mean? Like I'll hammer that joke.
You'll revive that dead horse several times and then kill it
Yeah.
again.
And that's what this game did. It just kept going and going, and it's like it just keep coming back. It just keep coming back. That's definitely one thing that I want to see, like lessen, like different abilities, different things. Like, somebody that uses electricity would be dope to see. You know what I mean? Like we
Yeah.
saw that with the dragon, but that's the only person that had any kind of electric abilities in the whole game.
So yeah, so for me, it's more story. So like obviously like we kept dancing around it over the course of this playthrough. When you beat the ruler of the Dark Elves and he says his parting shot is, you chose the wrong side, and Atreus is like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
And I hope we see that play out. Like we did see in the latest trailer that we will go back to Alfheim, but will we see the ramifications of that? And I'd like to know, like, obviously, like, my other biggest things is, like, we only fought God. Like, the gods we fought was Balder, Magni, and Modi. Like, yes, we fought a dragon, we fought a bunch of ogres and trolls and all that. But we didn't, like, when you say God of War, you want there to be gods. And there weren't that many gods that you fought in this. Obviously, you expect, we know the biggest one is going to be Thor. You're probably going to fight Freya. Maybe Odin, but I want to see like more of the pantheon included in the sequel. You don't have to go full-fledged, like not God of War 3 where you go through killing everybody and that's it. But just more. And I also want to see, like, I would also like to see, and maybe this is a ripoff because minor spoilers for Last of Us Part 2.
Whoa. I haven't played it.
No, I'm not going to go just like,
okay.
I'm not going to go too in the weeds. That's why I said minor. I would like to see flashback sequences for God of War Ragnarok, explaining more of like, because like you sparked this when we were talking about the story. Atreus said, you were never around. All right, well, what was he doing? Like, is this going to get explained? And then we never see Faye. Like, we see her get cremated. That's it.
Yeah.
What happened to her? Like, what was the cause that she died? Like, I would like to see her and Kratos, like, interacting, like, just to see, like, obviously over the course of this game, he became a father. I don't want to say a better father, because he wasn't even a father. He became a father over the course of this game.
Yeah.
I would like to see how he interacted with his wife, because obviously, if you played the original trilogy, he killed his wife and daughter because Ares tricked him to do it.
Yeah.
And you want to see, like, obviously he rectified a lot of that over the course of this game, but it's like, how was he as a husband? How was he to Faye? Like, and I just want to see who Faye, like, we hear the stories of how she helped save the giants, her race, and we see her as like the protector and the guardian. And we hear stories of how, like, she raised Atreus, but we never got to see her. Like, I'd like to see more of her, like, in action type of thing.
Yeah, because she was a huge warrior and everything. That's the whole reason why the axe was forged by Brock and Sindri, was for her to, kind of negate the effects of Mjolnir. So it's very interesting. I would love to see Faye as well.
Don't know if we'll get flashbacks, but I would love to see it.
Maybe Kratos killed her too.
Oh God, please. That would be some crazy stuff. Like,
Yeah. No, I don't think I don't think that at all. But that would be a twist. What a
Yeah.
twist. To your point, I think we are going to see much more of the Norse pantheon. Um, if this is the final game within
this series.
this Norse side of things,
Yeah.
I think we're going to get some really timey-wimey crap up in here, dude.
Oh
like,
yeah, for sure.
like I think we're going to see an older Loki. Like I think we're going to see him with the
Ooh.
horns. Like I think we're going to see some crazy stuff coming out of Helheim. Like we're going to see the fight with the world serpent. Valkyries coming back. We saw that in the last trailer, because Valkyries don't normally take in a fleshly form. They're usually like more spirit, but they're going to take a fleshly form. We're going to fight them again. So like it's going to be crazy up in there, and I hope we get not just Odin, trying to talk his way out of things.
Yeah,
I would love to see Odin like just lay
get his hands
down.
dirty.
Yeah, like use the spear, use like his not like his craziness and everything. Like that's what I want to see. We're gonna get the Thor fight. I'm really interested to see what Tyr is about. Like I know he's gonna be huge in the thing, but I think it's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting too. Like, obviously, he's praised as as a savior as well, because he travels between not just realms, he travels between pantheons. Will he be? Because he kind of hints at he's like, "Oh, you want my help, don't you?" Like, will he be a hindrance to Kratos and Atreus, or will he be an asset for him?
I think he's going to be a bit of a mixed bag. I think he's going to help in some ways.
Yeah.
But I think eventually he's going to see that he has to help them to save as many as possible. I think that is what's going to happen. And I think he gets the chains eventually. Like you give up the chains and he has them as his weapon, and you have the Leviathan axe as your weapon. At some point in time, I think that's what's going to happen. And hey, we might kill Odin, we get the spear.
That'd be crazy. Utterly ridiculous, but I would love it.
Or we kill Thor and we have the Leviathan axe and the hammer. Dude. Dude.
Ridiculous. OP.
Yeah, and like only time's gonna tell, guys. And we want to hear what are you looking forward to? I'll put up the countdown. We got 33 days.
33 days.
4 hours left, 3 minutes, guys, until God of War Ragnarok. It's gonna be an awesome game. I'm really, really excited about it. Derek, are there any other changes that you want to see leading into Ragnarok? I know we won't story, and I know we're gonna get story. Do you think it's going to be the last one as well? So you got 2 questions in there. Any other changes, or do you think this is gonna be the last one?
Yes, because Ragnarok is like the big world-ending event. Like, obviously, it's like a whole time reset type of event, depending on how deep you look into the lore. But I think you're not going to call it Ragnarok if it's not going to be the end.
Yeah.
Because how are you going to follow up with this? Like, obviously, it depends on how the story ends, like where they are at in that point in time. But I feel like they're going to wrap this up and then head into the next mythology.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Is there any other changes that you want to see?
I want to see Atreus get more involved in the combat, other than just being like, "Oh, let me shoot this arrow to solve this puzzle," or "Let me just stun this enemy," and then because I used it more in the first playthrough, but I rarely ever used his runic ability in the New Game Plus playthrough.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like if you added more to his skill set, it would entice you to because I think they also talked about it in the preview. Atreus is going to be more involved in combat, to help you with combos or whatever. So I feel like adding more to his skill set or skill tree. I'm not saying give him a full-fledged skill tree like Kratos, but just give him a little bit more abilities to help you out.
Well, he did have a skill tree in the game. If you remember.
That's true. But most of it was just different summonings,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, but like he did have a skill tree which like upped like his damage output and everything.
Yeah.
Like the way they designed how Atreus plays in this game is very like intuitive. Like he'll respond to
Yeah.
like how you're doing things. Like when I charged somebody, like he will like run up behind you and like use you as a launch and then like shoot above you as he
Yeah.
like flies past them and everything. I use the runic ability all the time, especially on
Yeah.
harder enemies.
Yeah.
But for me, it would be interesting to see like his more like Loki powers where he's able to like
Yep.
hide in plain sight and do more kind of like assassination kind of stuff,
Yeah.
or use, like shapeshift like Beast Boy, like
Oh, yeah.
do really cool things in that regard. Would be awesome to see if Loki, we get to start seeing more of Loki kind of deal than, because we are going to get the wolves in this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
My last question, at least for you,
mhm.
would be, and I know it's kind of like we don't want to make it tropey, especially with
Yeah.
PlayStation, but we saw with Spider-Man 2018, there was a sequence where you played as Miles Morales
Mhm.
and Mary Jane as well. And then in Last of Us Part 1, there was a sequence where you took over and played as Ellie after
Yep.
playing as Joel for most of the game. Do you think they will follow that same trend and there will be a sequence where you get to play solely as Atreus?
I feel so. I think so.
Yeah.
And that might be the moment where like you get to use more of his powers. That's when they
Yeah.
awaken or something like that. But yeah, I think it's, pretty clear, because hey,
Especially
Krat-
with whatever that mural depicts, like,
Yeah.
you know?
Kratos loses his arm, he can't keep fighting. What do? You become full Loki in that. I don't know.
Yep. Yeah.
Only time will tell, guys. 33 days, 3 hours, 59 minutes, guys. We can't wait for God of War Ragnarok, and I hope that you are ready as well. Derek owes me some delicious Five Guys because I predicted it come out this year, and I am super stoked. And I know Derek's not salty about that bet because he gets to play God of War Ragnarok this year. You don't have
You're
to wait
right.
another year. You know what I
In the
mean?
same year that Horizon Forbidden West came out, it has been a Derek year for sure.
You can't get any better than that. But we're going to try to, guys, because it is time for some quick hits. Let's go, guys.
To start, there's a rumor Need for Speed Unbound set for imminent reveal and will be launching on December 2nd, apparently. Ubisoft has shut down online servers for 9 games: Assassin's Creed 2, 3, Brotherhood, and Revelations, Driver San Francisco, Far Cry 3, Ghost Recon Future Soldier, Rayman Legends, and Splinter Cell Blacklist. Beyond Good and Evil 2 is the record holder for the game longest in development, surpassing Duke Nukem Forever. Dragon Age Dreadwolf won't require you to play the original trilogy. A Portal-like puzzle game, The Entropy Center, gets a November 3rd release date. Google reportedly passed on a Stadia exclusive follow-up to Death Stranding. Ubisoft, Bungie, and others working on Stadia game save transfers. Genshin Impact developer is considering how to make a limited-time events replayable in the future. World of Warcraft Dragonflight will launch on November 28th. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare 2 reportedly in development at Sledgehammer Games. The Game Awards 2022 will be open to the public for the first time in 3 years. Rumor, Respawn is bringing 9 classic Titanfall maps to Apex Legends. Baby Yoda Tamagotchi will be coming out January 27th. Dead Space Remake will expand on secondary characters such as Nicole with, quote, narrative side quests. Tencent to reportedly focus on buying majority stakes mainly in overseas game companies. Sony and Nintendo to remain, quote, biggest players in traditional gaming even after Activision Blizzard deal, says Microsoft. UK regulators set March 2023 deadline for ruling on Microsoft's acquisition of Activision. Overwatch 2's launch is soured as servers are suffering a mass DDoS attack, with a second attack happening shortly after. Overwatch 2 has scrapped SMS Protect for, quote, majority of existing players. Hitman 3 Freelancer mode has been pushed back to January 26th. No Man's Sky won't be getting microtransactions anytime soon. Mortal Kombat 30th Anniversary is NetherRealm's main focus right now, says Ed Boon. Cyberpunk 2077 sequel, quote, almost certainly getting made with Unreal Engine, hopes raised for, quote, smoother release. Following that, CD Projekt Red's core Cyberpunk 2077 team, quote, moving to US to head up new studio for Project Orion. The Witcher 4 won't be released until at least 2025. Bayonetta voice actress is being replaced by Mass Effect's Jennifer Hale. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot new gen versions will be launching on January 13th. Five Nights at Freddy's movie is confirmed, and Blumhouse will be making it. And finally, like I said, your Xbox games with gold will be for October have been revealed. It's a week late, and it's interesting. Normally, we're supposed to get 4 games. This month, we're only getting 2. For the entire month, you get Windbound, and from October 16th to November 15th, you're getting Bomber Crew Deluxe Edition.
There you go. There was the quick hits. One that I really wanted to hit real quick. I saw a lot about this, about Stadia over the last week. There have been
Yeah.
so many devs tweeting out that they didn't know that it was closing
Yeah.
down and that they were actively developing a game for Stadia.
Yeah, which means Google made a split-second decision, and they were like, "We're a billion-dollar company. We don't need to let anyone know. It's okay."
Yeah. And I hate that for them. Hopefully they can bring that progress. Hopefully the engines that they were using are not tied to Stadia specifically.
Yeah.
And then they can bring those games over to a console that can actually, survive
Yeah.
and not be over on Google and everything. And then last, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I'm glad it's coming to, current gen, not next gen, but current gen. And that we're getting a new story DLC. They're coming out with a season 2 for their pass and everything. And we're starting off with some Bardock on there. So I'm really,
yeah, that's right.
really excited about some more Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Love that game. Love that game so much. And I'm very concerned about Tencent buying stakes in game companies overseas. And Tencent is over in China. So that means over in America and in Europe and in Japan.
I mean, they're already trying to take over Ubisoft.
Yep. And I feel like Epic is going to be another one. Like they already have not Fortnite, PUBG is already their baby. So, who knows? Who knows, guys? But that is the episode. We hope that you enjoyed it, everyone. We will be back next week, and we'll be talking about all the nerdy news that you need to know. This game club for this month, guys, is going to be Wreckfest. You can see here on your screen. It is going to be Wreckfest. It is over on Game Pass. So how this works is each and every month we pick a game and we play it together. We talk about it. We play it on streams, all those good things. We just finished up God of War 2018. That's why we were reviewing it tonight, getting ready for God of War Ragnarok. But Wreckfest is our game club game for October. So come join us. Go get it over on Game Pass, and we'll be playing it on stream. I'm really excited about it. And I watched some reviews about it, and it looks pretty fun. It looks pretty fun.
And it's also like Game Pass is the easiest way to get it, but it's also on PlayStation consoles, PC, and I think it's also on Switch. It came to. So you got your options.
Yeah. It got a 9 over on IGN.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got a 9 on IGN. And there's couch racing. Like you're literally sitting on a couch that has wheels and you race said couch.
Interesting.
It's going to be some crazy times, guys. It's going to be awesome. But thank you so much for watching. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did enjoy it, make sure to hit that like button because we're over on youtube.com. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything that we put out over here on this channel because we're trying to grow our YouTube. We also stream on Twitch on Tuesdays. We're on Tuesdays right now, y'all. We'll talk about that in a minute, but come and be a part of that. If you want to toss us a few dollars, you can go over to patreon.com/nerdcave. Show us some support there. And if you want to do it in a different way, you can use Epic creator code NerdCave at checkout. So you can be Epic, get your games there, do all of those things. It's done, Derek. We did this in an hour and 50 minutes, man. I'm proud of us. I'm proud of us. Thank you so much, guys. This has been Zach.
And Tootie.
It's Tukey Clothespin. But
Tukey Clothespin. Never mind. Tookie Clothespin.
He's right though. He's got gas, y'all. Y'all have a blessed week.